Our eighth speaker, Mark Hunter, a sink full of green tomatoes. A sink full of green tomatoes, Mark Hunter.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Literature is literally littered with lively legends. Amongst them rides Don Quixote, the man of La Mancha, an idealistic knight who fought for the rights of others and dared to dream the impossible dream. Madam Contest Chair, ladies and gentlemen, while I dare not sing that famous song for fear it could be your nightmare, I too, like all of us, have dreamed impossible dreams. But to make one of my dreams even remotely reachable, I needed to learn a lesson, perhaps a lesson for us all. At the age of 22, an accident completely changed my view of the world. Before the accident, I saw the world from the height of an invincible 6 feet. Now I see it from the height of a consummate navel-gazer. So I became short, seated, and recycled. But I soon faced discrimination. So I became the modern-day Don Quixote, fighting for the rights of those with a disability. Many, many times I would put on the armor of righteousness, mount my trusty grey horse, yee-haw! Lower my lance and charge into hell for my heavenly cause, daring to dream of a world where discrimination no longer existed. But at other times, I would retreat, exhausted, and just want to become invisible. For many years, as I championed this cause, I faced this dilemma. Do I want to fit in, or do I want to stand up, stand out, and stand fast for who and what I'd become? Do I want to be the same or different? I became consumed by this problem and desperate for an answer. So I turned to books, coaches, meditation, you name it, I did it. I even searched in the bottom of a couple of empty bottles of scotch. About 10 years after the accident, I found my answer where many of life's most important questions are answered. My grandmother's kitchen was filled with the aroma of freshly cooked bread, and the quiet, rhythmic chopping of vegetables was the only sound to be heard. On the bench, gleaming upturned jars were just begging to be filled with a world-famous tomato relish. Well, I thought it was world-famous. My grandfather, Poppy, used to say it could be used as paint stripper. I too would laugh at his mischief, but Nana would merely smile. A splash was followed by her silent invitation to look in the water-filled sink. One wildly bright red apple had accidentally tumbled in and was now bobbing amongst a dozen green tomatoes. She said to me, "Mark, look in the sink. What do you want to be?" I looked at my choice. Do I want to be the one apple or one tomato of many? And I remembered thinking, who looks at fruit and vegetables and gets philosophical? So how did I answer Nana? As I watched her, I finally understood her wisdom. "Nana," I said. She stopped, turned, waited. "Nana, I so want to be the water." She turned back to her work, and I'm sure I heard her smile. She knew I had found my answer, that you can't change the world by charging around like an idealistic knight. No, you've got to change it from in here, by being the water. You see, water embraces everything completely. It doesn't differentiate young from old, black from white, tall from navel gazers. It simply encompasses all. And what is this water if it is not a unique definition of love? A definition supported by Deepak Chopra when he says, for love to be real, it has to flow out and around that which is loved. This water is liquid love. When I am the water, no, when we are the water, the need to fight the good fight no longer exists. The need to work out whether we're the same or different no longer exists. When we love with the intimacy of water, difference doesn't exist. It's what this liquid love does. And so, with my new understanding, I began to change my world from in here. Ladies and gentlemen, in an ordinary kitchen, I learnt an extraordinary lesson. One which enabled me to take off my armor and get off my horse. Not literally. I learned from my grandmother that it doesn't matter how we're different. What matters is how we love. And so this morning, I leave you with her wisdom, that in a sink full of green tomatoes and one wildly bright red apple, there is so much to be gained from being the water. Madam Chairman.